Hi, this is Travis.
And this is Jonathan.
And we'd like to welcome you to the 100 Ways to Love a Cat podcast.
That's the podcast that eventually plays the song 100 Ways to Love a Cat.
And that is coming up soon, very, very soon. But we should talk about it being Christmas Eve and what that means to you, what that means to me, what that may mean to a lot of people, except for the folks who don't celebrate Christmas because it means something else that I don't understand.
If you're listening to this and it's not Christmas Eve, because it'll only be Christmas Eve on one day until you listen to it the next year on Christmas Eve.
Well, if you listen to this 2 or 3 days later than Christmas Eve, it's not like you're going to forget, oh, it was just Christmas Eve 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah, we can talk about the eternal feeling of Christmas Eve and how it feels.
You should be able to talk about Christmas whenever you want. It just happens to be Christmas Eve while we're talking about it right now. But if you're listening to this months from now and you go talk to someone, like I listened to this wonderful podcast, it's not necessarily about Christmas Eve, but they talked about Christmas Eve for a few minutes, and then they played a 35-minute song about how to love a cat.
Oh, I thought you were saying that you'd been listening to podcasts, that you had a great...
No, I don't. I haven't. I don't. I just, I guess I need visuals. I need to see things.
How can you keep up with our competition is what I always say.
What competition do we have?
All the other podcasts in the world.
How many podcasts are about loving a cat and singing a song about them, though? I think we kind of, that's our niche. Is that how you say niche? Is that our niche? That's our niche, and I don't see anybody else coming near this.
It's true, but if you look at the different catalogs for podcasts, there's about, just cat podcasts, there's about 3,000. And then musical ones is a subcategory.
But that's music and those cats.
15.
Ours are both of those, and
16.
There's only one. So if you like both of those things, you're coming straight here. I can't see you going anywhere else. Why would you?
It's true. There are podcasts about loving cats, and there are podcasts and then they sing other kinds of songs because they feel like you need a break. I think we're the only ones that double down on it.
That's what we're doing here. And by the way, Merry Christmas to all of you who celebrate Christmas and all of you who enjoy Christmas. Happy holidays to anyone who, for whatever reason, doesn't celebrate Christmas or just doesn't like it. Happy holidays to you regardless. Our Christmas present to all of you, which we love to give you every year, which we love to give you every week, is our song, 100 Ways to Love a Cat.
There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 1, keep a tidy house for them, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 2, be sure to clip their claws, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 3, scoop their box daily, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 4, brush them with a hairbrush, 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 5, don't squeeze their paws hard, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 6, Give them some fresh water. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 7. Let them have a fish. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 8. Buy them a scratching post. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 9. Put them in your lap. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 10. Be quiet when they're sleeping. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 11. Whisper, I love you. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 12. Rub their soft belly. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 13. Make sure their tail is clean. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 14. Give them a yarn ball. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 15. Make them a nice bed. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 16. Buy him some catnip. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 17. Play them some music. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 18. Get them a cute collar. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 19. Make sure they're vaccinated. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 20. Take their picture. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 21. Brush their teeth. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 22. Let them watch TV. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 23. Don't let them be outside by themselves. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 24. Feed them some cat food. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 25. Make sure their eyes are clean. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 26. Put a liner in their box. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 27. Give them a mat to wipe their feet on. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 28. Don't forget them on Christmas. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 29. Make sure they're spayed or neutered. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 30. Hold them like a baby. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 31. Let them have a towel or blanket. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 32. Keep your toilet lid down. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 33. Don't let them chew on power cords. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 34. Set them by the window. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 35. Cat-proof your home. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 36. Change their litter weekly. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 37. Praise them lavishly. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 38. Never feed him chicken bones. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 39. Teach them a funny trick. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 40. Give them a toy mouse. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 41. Clean up their hairballs. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 42. Keep them away from candles. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 43. Give him a separate zone. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 44. Never play with them aggressively. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 45. Increase his cuddle time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 46. Be sure to watch his weight. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 47. If you leave, turn on the radio. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 48. Scold him firmly but with kindness. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 49. Respond when he meows. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 50. Give them a thing of cat grass. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 51. Scratch under his chin. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 52. Remind him that you love him. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 53. Give them a box to play in. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 54. If they're old, help them get down. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 55. Let them lick you with their rough tongue. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 56. Record precious memories. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 57. Dress them up in ribbons. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 58. Give them a flea treatment. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 59. Make a vet appointment. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 60. Give them a little wet food. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 61. When they scratch you, don't get angry. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 62. Give them some private time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 63. Treat them with respect. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 64. When he grooms himself, say good job. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 65. Let them chase a laser pointer. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 66. Clean out their ears. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 67. Never smoke around them. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 68. Buy a sturdy cat carrier. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 69. Listen to them purr. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 70. Dented by temptations. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 71. Give them your full attention. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 72. Don't trap them in the laundry basket. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 73. Let them sleep in bed with you. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 74. Make sure they're not locked in the closet. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 75. Don't let them play in plastic bags. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 76. Give them a massage. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 77. Touch him as you pass by. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 78. If he's on the couch, don't be mad. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 79. If they hate fans, turn the fan off. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 80. When there's a bird outside, say, hey, look. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 81. Intrigue them with a funny sound. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 82. Don't forget sardine time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 83. Let him play with your old socks. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 84. Stroke in the direction that his fur goes. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 85. Admire his long whiskers. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 86. Keep his box away from his food. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 87. Pretend that he's a piano. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 88. Don't interrupt them while they're eating. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 89. When they're scared, go and comfort them. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 90. Let him have a lick. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 91. If their breath stinks, give them greenies. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 92. Give him a ball with a bell in it. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 93. If it's hot, put ice in their bowl. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 94. Let him drink out of the sink. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 95. Don't vacuum if it scares him. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 96. Draw a picture of him. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 97. If you drop some food, it's theirs now. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 98. Read him a book. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 99. Feed him again. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 100. Just love them every day. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways.
Jonathan, I know that that's not a Christmas song, technically. You know, we don't really mention... Do we mention Christmas in it? I don't think we do.
I'd have to go back through the lyrics, but we might. Don't we give... I think... Isn't there a Christmas mention in there?
Well, even if there is a Christmas mention, it is not a Christmas song, and yet... It feels like a Christmas song when you play it around this time of year.
It's true. It's very festive. It's about love. It's about a cat. It's about a lot of different things that make me think of Christmas time and the holidays and cuddling up next to a fire. It works in the summer, too, as sort of a cooling song to cool off.
Well, I think it works year-round. But, I mean, it's Christmas now, so I thought it would be appropriate for us to discuss simply how much this song reminds us of Christmas or feels like a Christmas song because it's Christmas now. When December comes along, I don't mind talking about it again. We can talk about how the song cools you down. That's fine. But I figure on Christmas Eve, now's the time to discuss giving and love and peace on earth and how wonderful this song is and how well it works for Christmas.
Yeah, it does all those things, too. It's sort of a hot, warm. It's like one of those patches you put on your back. It can be cold and it can be warm.
Well, let's talk about it being Well, cold in a sense of Christmas as far as the climate is concerned, which I hope those of you who enjoy a white Christmas are all enjoying the snow, and those who didn't get it probably next year because of global warming. But I think we should save us talking about it cooling you down for the summertime. I think that's when we should talk about it. But this should be a song that warms you up in the cold, or it's cold. Wait, did I have that backwards? I'm sorry. So in the summertime, we play the song and it cools you down. Mm-hmm. And in the Christmas time,
it warms you up. And in the springtime, it's a symbol of growth. And in the autumn, it's a symbol of decay.
See, I had it backwards. I was thinking that Christmas, because it's usually cold because of the temperature.
I like to think of it, I can tie 100 Ways to Love a Cat into any month, any day, any holiday, any celebrity's birthday, whatever you've got. I can make this song work for that. So if you want to talk about it for cool Christmas time, snowflakes on the mantelpiece and everybody coming down the stairs,
yes.
And here comes Grandma and Grandpa
yes.
too, and their friend they brought this time that nobody knows, and maybe there's a game of marbles in the back with a couple of newsboys from the 20s or 30s even, or 40s maybe. I don't know how long that lasted. They're all back there eating oranges and cherries, maraschino cherries, and it's Christmas time. And then somebody says, hey, how about some music? And I say, fine. And I put on 100 Ways to Love a Cat.
There you go.
That fits to me. But also, let's say it's summertime and you're in a tank top.
We can talk about that. That's fine. But why don't we save that? Because, summer will be here before you know it. And then we're going to not have a topic. And we should probably save...
that's a good point. I don't want to hear from people saying, well, you said this on the one about Christmas.
I don't mean to be a nitpicker. I'm sure there's some people out there who would like to hear the story twice. So if you really feel...
Some people can't remember.
That's true. But if you feel like you really would like to talk about how the song does well for the summertime, that's fine. But I want to point out that when you and I were writing this song, when we sat down and we got our chalk out and our little chalk boards, the little ones. That's how we started on it.
It was Little House on the Prairie slates.
It was and that's because I remember with us when we first sat down because we were like,
get your bonnet, get your thinking bonnet.
We took those out to play, but it took us a while to write this song, so we wrote it on our little chalkboards. We wrote it on just your regular notebook paper. We wrote it on napkins. We wrote Ways to Love a Cat on the computer as well.
Remember, it was summertime, and we were in the pool, and I don't have anything. We'll take this Sharpie and just write it on my back. And then I wrote on your back. It was one way on my back and one way on your back.
That's true.
And then we couldn't remember, like, where did we write that? And then you took your shirt off. I'm like, there it is.
Turn around.
And then you were like, you do it. And I was like, okay, here it is. Here's the other one.
Those were two ways. That's right. But when we were in the pool and when we were on our chalkboards and on the computer and on the phone and everywhere else, we wrote some in the car, you name it. There's locations that we wrote it, and there's also things that we wrote it, put the information on, like our backs and so forth and whatnot. But when we were doing so, in my mind, we were writing it first and foremost, of course, how to love a cat, how wonderful cats are, how you should love them. But in the back of my mind, or on the peripherals, let's say, of the focus of the point of the song, I was thinking like the seasons and the holidays and how you can enjoy this song on each and every single one of them. That was going on. And if it doesn't come out so much in the words, or that's it, basically, I guess the words, you can feel it in the music and the delivery. And
well, there was that whole... we had a lot of ideas that, in retrospect, weren't as good as some other ideas. And I'll take the blame. I was the one who said, because it was St. Patrick's Day, that we should do the whole thing in an Irish accent. And I made you do the Irish accent. We came up with the character, Paddy McCaticully, or what was it, Paddy?
It was, and that's
Paddy
not a bad idea. I think it was just a
Paddy McCaticully.
Paddy McCaticully. that wasn't necessarily a bad idea, Jonathan. It was just a bad idea for this particular song. Because I think someday down the road we want to write a song. We could bring Paddy McCaticully back.
100 Irish ways to love a cat.
I remember.
And the thing is, we said, okay, finally, no, and we got rid of it. But there's a piece of it in there, not literally, but just the effort we went to.
Because it was on our minds, because it's something that we tried, it still lingers within everything else we do. You don't have to have the accent, you don't have to have...
No, the journey informs the destination. Mm-hmm. The journey, when you get to where you're going, it's a different place because of how you got there.
And regardless of what accent you are maybe using or listening to.
Yes. Every accent we tried out for this song is in there somehow. Not literally, but in another way.
You know what? This is a special occasion. This is just for Christmas now. This is an extra Christmas present besides the song 100 Ways to Love a Cat. I'm going to try to bring back Paddy McCaticully. Let's just do a little role play here. You haven't seen Paddy McCaticully in some time, and you're going to interview him, Jonathan. On your mark, get set, go.
Do I work for a newspaper?
You could. Yeah, sure. Yes. Or a journalist. Yes.
Hello, I'm the journalist Franco Brushcombe. And I'm here to tell you all about the new sensation of the airwaves, Paddy McCaticully. Hey, hi.
Hellos.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Well, I know it threw you up because I was doing the accent.
I didn't know exactly.
Well, it's been a while since we've done it. Okay.
I see. I was making it more. I was making it more about me and the whole journalism thing, and I was
no.
But it's really about the voice.
That's what you should focus on is because that's your role.
Well, I don't want to be like. And then I went to college.
Let's start over. Go ahead.
What was my name?
Pedro
Brushcombe. Let's just keep
sure. That'll be fine.
Okay. Hi, I'm Pedro Brushcombe for the news, and here is Paddy McCaticully, the newest star of stage and screen. Hello, Paddy. How would you like to tell our fans how you're doing today?
Hello. I would like to tell all the fans what a wonderful day it is today and how I like to sing and dance and entertain all of you.
I heard that there are 100 ways. Thank you, Paddy. That was I heard that there are 100 ways that you've come up with from the old Irish traditions. You're Irish, right?
Aye.
Then what are some of those ways to love a cat?
Aye, one good way is to take the cats and place it on your lap and brush it with your fingers and your hand.
Well, now, as you know, it's summertime, and it's really hot outside.
Is it now?
I think when you put the cat on your lap in shorts, how do you keep from getting scratched up? Is that another way to love it?
If you're loving a cat the way you're supposed to, it will not use its claws. If you're petting it the right way, if you're brushing it, with your arms and hands and fingers in the appropriate manner that pleases the cat and lets you know it's getting loved, it shouldn't ever bare its claws.
And Paddy, you've had 7 different
No
cats.
matter the temperature, cold or hot.
Let's say it's cold then. It's cold. I messed up. It's Christmas time.
Aye.
It's cold and your pants are corduroy and you're wearing a sweater because you just came from the church and everyone's there watching you pet that cat and it's so cold. And the cat is just really going to town on your leg with what are they? Paddy, you're the cat expert. What's that thing where they hit in slow motion with both paws on you?
That's what we call making biscuits. When the cat gets to making its paws up and down slowly, claws in and out, making biscuits.
What a wonderful old Irish tradition. I love those old Irish nicknames and romantic stories of the harsh cliffs. Did you find many of your 7 cats on the cliffs, or did you just get them from a store?
Mostly from the animal shelters.
Oh, you don't go to the store anymore. You get them from the shelter.
Get them from the
there's
shelters.
So many people who just throw them out.
Aye.
Well, that's a very good message, and I'm glad you came by, Paddy McCaticully.
Merry Christmas to you and all those of you who love a cat and pet a cat and all the ways to love it. Aye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. All right, end scene.
Are we done?
Huh?
Are we done?
Oh, you mean with the podcast?
Well, I need to go I have some last-minute shopping.
Yes, I guess we are.
I
Thank
thought
you so
we'd just go out on the character.
I thought that may confuse people, though, because they would...
Oh, that's a good point.
Because
hey, everybody, that was...
I'm a little rusty.
No,
I could do Paddy McCaticully probably a little better than that. Had I, you have to wood shop with that sort of thing.
I could give you better questions, I think.
Well, when Meryl Streep did in Sophie's Choice, she was Polish. There was no question to that. But she just didn't wake up one day and say, I'm Polish today. No, she sat down and listened to Polish people. She listened to tape recordings of Polish people. It's hard work, and that's the reason she is the greatest actress of all time.
Did she have someone... Do you think maybe helping her, pretending to be a journalist?
I have no doubt about it. She has several assistants. She could they could each play a different journalist every day.
Okay, Susie, you go get her lunch, and Bobby, you be the journalist.
Yes.
That makes sense.
She's earned the right to treat people that way with her talent.
Yeah, she's good. She's always good.
I love Meryl Streep. Devil Wears Prada is a good one. I like that one. They just didn't so much use an accent in that. She's like, who is it? 101 Dalmatians. What's the woman? The mean? Duvall.
Clea Duvall.
Clea Duvall. It's almost as if Clea Duvall got out of jail after trying to kill all the dogs and started a
wait. Are you
magazine.
Are you thinking about No Reservation? What's the one with Michael Douglas? No Reservations? What's that called?
I'm unfamiliar with that.
9.5 Reservations?
I'm unfamiliar with that.
You're talking about the woman from No Reservations.
I'm talking about Meryl Streep.
But the other woman that's like her.
Cruella.
Yes, was in
Koala.
9.5.
No, 101 Dalmatians.
What am I thinking?
The dogs. Remember the spotty dogs? Spotty dogs.
Right, the rabbit, though, I think is what you're mixing up.
No.
You're thinking about the rabbit that got boiled alive.
No.
Well, what are you thinking of?
I'm thinking it's a cartoon. There were dogs. She was trying. I don't know if she was going to boil them. I don't know.
Like it was a cartoon character that was real, like Jessica Rabbit. Also,
no, she wasn't. It was a cartoon. She wanted to get the fur off of all the dogs and puppies, and possibly her plan could have been to boil it off of them. I don't know, but I don't. There's no rabbits.
I think we're just thinking of two. And she had an affair.
No, she smoked a cigarette and had a long car.
In a cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
This is an older one.
I think we're getting mixed up.
These are Disney cartoons.
All right. What was that one, the Apple Dumpling Gang?
That was not a cartoon. That was a Disney movie, but it was not a cartoon. That had real people in it. Huh. Nowadays, you can't tell with the computers and everything. I have no idea.
I don't even know. The Jungle Book or whatever?
Which I kind of like it better that way. Like, what does it matter if it's a cartoon, if it's real? It's a movie. Enjoy it.
Yeah, it's all the same. It's all made up. Stupid.
Yeah, just all of it is silly. I mean,
if you're showing up there going like even the most serious movie, like let's go see Schindler's List. Somebody just made a movie about it.
Yeah, it's not the real thing.
It's like, oh well, the guy who made the shark did the thing about the Holocaust.
Does that
make you feel any better?
as wonderful as Meryl Streep, who I think is the finest actress alive, or of all time maybe, as wonderful as she is in Sophie's Choice, and as amazing as she is putting on that accent, it's still a bunch of bull hockey. It's like, oh, she, if you think about it that way, if you kind of take yourself out, it's kind of fun. Oh, she's talking in a funny accent. You got to, it's kind of funny.
Like
everything's silly all of a sudden.
Like if you go from this is very serious and she's a great actor,
yes,
to like she's just making voices about like the worst thing that ever happened. Then everybody should just like go home and take a nap and rethink how we got here.
Sure. I think, maybe.
So, Merry Christmas, everyone. I don't know. Christmas. We may still be hearing from Paddy McCaticully.
Well, we'll see in the new year, perhaps, huh? Maybe that's something we can work on for
I'm going
future.
to resolve to try to get Paddy McCaticully out of his show.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I need to. If so, I'm going to go to town and work. But again, why work so hard if everyone knows it's bull anyway? Like I appreciate Meryl Streep working that hard and taking that long to learn Polish and to speak in a Polish way, but ultimately,
she's just like
it's like
hey, ho ho ho!
I know you're fooling. Thank you so much. Doesn't take anything away from her talent, by the way. But thank you so much.
She earns everything.
Absolutely,
a woman in Hollywood. Come on, like we're forgetting about that.
There's
part
not many. Absolutely. Thanks so much. Hope you all have a wonderful holiday. We'll be back, if not on the new year, very near it, very well close to it.